Hello, my good friend. Today we are talking about a missing ingredient that may be missing from our healthy eating, and that's self-compassion. And I really wanted to do this in this module as we have already covered self-love and we have already covered mindfulness. So let's just dive into it. And some of this information I'd like to acknowledge Marsha Hundle for. So let's just think about a tough day at work. Let's say Mary, that may be me or you. We've forgotten to eat our lunch. We've lost track of time and we're absolutely starving. Now, the salad that Mary beautifully put together is limp, it's wilted, it's slimy, it's gross. It just doesn't appeal to her because she didn't eat it in time. And her office mates have a pizza that they are sharing around, and Mary loves her pizza, so she takes a piece and she eats it really fast because she's so hungry, and she's also feeling very guilty. So I'm not sure if you have done that, eaten something really quickly because we're feeling very guilty about it, and it's almost like we're pretending not to eat it if we eat it fast. But then she's eaten this quickly and she's not fulfilled, so she takes another slice, and then Mary takes another slice, and she finishes this meal and she's way too full because she was just scoffing it down, but she's also started berating herself for her lack of willpower. She's saying to herself, I shouldn't have eaten that. What's wrong with me? Why do I always do that? Why do I choose these foods that I shouldn't eat? I'm stupid. I'm going to get fat. Does this sound familiar at all? So it's one that is frequently repeated by heaps of people who try to eat well, who try to eat healthily but don't succeed. So what we may not realise is what we're missing in this healthy eating is self-compassion. And it's the power to make or break our success at eating well. So let's just think about what self-compassion is. So according to this researcher, Kristin Neff, self-compassion consists of three main components: self-kindness, being kind and understanding towards ourselves in instances of pain or failure, as opposed to harshing, criticising ourselves, or I say judging ourselves. Common humanity, recognising our experience are part of a larger human experiences and we're not alone. And mindfulness, so holding painful thoughts and feelings in balanced awareness rather than over-identifying with them or trying to ignore them. So research shows that the more understanding and forgiving we are of ourselves, the more motivated we are to do what we need to take care of ourselves, including eating well. And it also helps to guard against that emotional overeating that I'm sure a lot of us go through, which often occurs when we feel as though if we have failed in our efforts to eat well. A lack of self-compassion closes the door to all of the learning that we're putting together here. The learning about our habits, our patterns, our triggers, and what needs when it comes to foods, our needs when it comes to food. By adopting a forgiving and curious, mindful attitude instead, we can foster a healthy relationship with eating and food and ourselves, and then we can open the door to improve our health and happiness. So how can we add this self-compassion to our meals? So just think about it step by step. Just give up on that black and white thinking. Embrace the fact that healthy eating is flexible and we can include a wide variety of foods. Some of them are richer than others, like the pizza, And sometimes the healthier choice might be the richer choice. Just so let's take an example at a party, pizza or salad. Salad's only healthier if that's what you really want. Otherwise you might feel deprived and end up overeating later. Have you ever done that? Had a little snack when you're out and then come home and absolutely binged because you're starving? Maybe enjoying that pizza mindfully as part of the celebration, as part of the social connection when we're actually at that party. It can really show us there's so many different roles that food can play in our lives. So we can often end up feeling satisfied with less when it does. So step 2, becoming aware of how we talk to ourselves when we're eating. So we have covered this already in the previous weeks. So perhaps there's maybe that tape player, that recording running in your head that admonishes you not to eat too much and not to get certain types of foods, or if you're failure to do so. So just recognizing that negative conversation that you're having in your head. Step 3, you might like to write about your responses to these thoughts in your journal. And see if you can turn on when you hear yourself starting to go down that familiar road of that negative self-talk. Step 4, practice these responses every time you hear yourself talking negatively to yourself about eating. So you might like to carry around your journal with these new messages to refer to. And remember, the first time you do something differently, it's the hardest. Every time you do something after that, it's going to get easier. So what's next? Sustainability. It's a comparison between mindless food purchase and mindless food consumption. I'll see you there.